Today we're going to be talking about solving a system by substitution. So let's start with this system here. 2x plus y is equal to -2, and the second equation will be y is equal to x plus 1. Substitution looks like this. Your first step needs to be to solve one of the equations for a variable. Notice, in the second equation that I have here, your second equation is already solved for y. So that's good news for you. So that's step one. Always make sure you have one equation solved for either variable, x or y. So since this equation is already solved for y, y is equal to x plus 1. They call this method substitution because I'm going to substitute this x plus 1 into the y that's in the other equation. So let's rewrite that first equation with the substitution. It will look like this. 2x plus, now instead of writing y, go ahead and write down your x plus 1. And that's going to be equal to -2. Now look at this. We have one equation and only one variable. And that one variable that we have to solve for is x. So let's go ahead and solve for x in this equation. Now I've got 3x's plus 1 is equal to -2. And if you want to go ahead and stop the video and then restart after you have your answer, that's fine. Let's continue solving for x. We'll subtract 1 from both sides. Now the positive 1 is gone. That leaves me with 3x being equal to a -3. And my last step will be to divide by 3 on both sides of my equation. And that leaves me with x is equal to -1. But we are not done, because in order to solve a system, you have to solve for all the variables. But at least now we know that x is -1, and we're going to use that to help us solve for y. And look at that second equation here. If we want to know what y is equal to, we can take our x value, plug it in here, and that will tell us what y is equal to. So let's do that. Y is equal to x, which we know to be -1, and then we'll add 1 to that. And it looks like we have an x value of -1 and a y value of 0. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Let's go ahead and try another one. All right, let's go ahead and work with x. Minus 2y is equal to -5, and x plus y is equal to 4. We'll call this one equation 1. We'll call that one equation 2. As I said before, your first step using this method is to solve either equation for a variable. And it looks to me like both equation 1 and 2 it would be very easy to solve for x. So I choose to solve for x. Let's just use equation 2. Let's rearrange this to get the x by itself. So I will subtract y from both sides. And now I can see that x is equal to 4 minus y. Now it's time to make the substitution. Since we know that x is equal to 4 minus y, I'm going to take this 4 minus y and substitute it into the x in the other equation. So let's write or rewrite that first equation with the substitution. So x, or I should say, since we know that x is 4 minus y, I'm going to write that down. 4 minus y minus the 2y is equal to negative 5. Okay, at this point, if you want to stop the video so that you can go ahead and solve for y, go ahead and do that. Okay, let's see what I get. 4 minus y minus 2y equals to negative 5. I'll go ahead and subtract 4 from both sides, leaving me with a negative 3y is equal to negative 9. And lastly, I'll divide by negative 3 on both sides, leaving me with y equal to 3. Okay, so that's great for us, and I hope that's what you got as well. So now that we know that y is equal to 3, let's use this information and go back and figure out what x is equal to. As I had said once before, you can actually plug your value into either of the originals. That'll work, but take a look at this. We can actually see that x is equal to 4 minus whatever y is, and we know what y is. So let's go ahead and plug a value of 3 into y. X is equal to 4 minus 3. So now we know that x is actually equal to 1. I hope that worked out well for you. I've got one more system coming up for us to solve.